أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. So this is the second week we are talking about Takathur. So very quick recap. Alhaakum Takathur, the mutual rivalry for piling up busied you. Hatta zurtumul maqabir, until you visit the graves. Kalla sawfa ta'lamun, thumma kalla sawfa ta'lamun. No, indeed, you soon shall know. Again, no, indeed, you soon shall know. Kalla law ta'lamun ilma al-yaqeen, la tarawunna al-jahim. No, indeed, were you to know with certainty of knowledge, you shall certainly see hellfire. ثُمَّ لَتَرَوُنَّهَا عَيْنَ الْيَقِينِ. Again, you shall see it with certainty of sight. ثُمَّ لَتُسْأَلُنَّ يَوْمَئِذٍ عَنِ النَّعِيمِ. Then, on that day, you will be called to account for all the bounties you enjoyed. Last week we discussed especially these two verses. Alhaakum Takathur hatta zurtumul maqabir. And Alhaakum, this part was meaning busying you meaninglessly. Assalamu alaikum. Yes. And Takathur was, assalamu alaikum. It was more like a mutual rivalry of doing something. So the form of the verb itself is having this competing or doing something mutually. So Takathur was increasing in magnitude. And last week we contrasted this with the chapter right before this in Revelational Order. Takathur was also mentioning a never-ending river. So we contrasted this piling up with finding eternal river. So that sort of incrementing in here has something to do with increasing numbers, but not eternally. This was our main focus. And Sister Iman was asking that question last time, saying that, well, then shall we not seek for success? Shall we not seek for like publishing more papers, getting more job done, sort of, because this incrementing in numbers was being mentioned in here. So what is it and what it is not was what we discussed last week. And this hatta zurtumul maqabir, we talked about this in two ways. One was you keep piling up and like mutual, right, be in as if compete each other in piling up or incrementing until you visit the graves. This was one path that we understood. The other one was you increased in piling up so much so that you even started boasting about what is in the past, in the grave. Like in the yesterday, oh, I did this, I did that, even starting to talk about it today. So we talked about both. This was mainly what we discussed last week. Then we will start now talking about Kalla sawfa ta'lamun, thumma kalla sawfa ta'lamun, this part of it. Anything you would like to mention, add about this initial portion from last week before we move on?
I guess I could add a bit about what we talked about grave.
Great.
And how like basically grave is the filter that you go through, so it's not the end, but it's the filter, and everything that you do that's for Allah, that's towards Islam, that is going to go through, that is going to pass through the grave. But all the accumulation that you do just for the sake of accumulating, or for other reasons, other gains that will not pass through your grave. And we talked about how like we can also access the grave earlier. So just like how your parents are like, oh, when you become a parent, you will understand. So we don't want to understand what the grave means when we get there. We want to understand it now. So how can you access the grave earlier? And we talked about how like we can Brickon said this. He was like, there is a grave between your present and everything that is before that. So it's like every joy that you think about, like everything is dying and everything is reaching that grave. Yeah. And what you like think about now, like all the good things I think about are what I did for Allah and Islam. So
Jazakallah khairan. Any other comments that you would like to add? So far, so good. Okay. So these two verses are as if coming up with a what's it? Blame. Creator is blaming me, sort of saying that this is how you are. You are competing with each other for increasing in numbers all the way until the grave. So when somebody blames you with such a thing, like if I say, oh, Mustafa, you are being too arrogant, like out of the blue, if I come out and say, you're too arrogant, like you would say, oh, what's going on? What did you see with me that I'm arrogant? So let me know so that I can fix at least. I mean, if you are open for fixing something, you would say, then explain me how I am arrogant. Maybe you are wrong. Maybe I am okay, but you are jealous of me. This is why you are telling me arrogant, right? This would be my immediate response if somebody, or let's put it this way, let's say I am a very careful, honest, hardworking scientist. I do my science the best way I can do. And somebody comes and says, oh, you're an imposter. You're lying. You keep publishing, but it's all lies. What would you say? How would you feel about it? Because you're doing something that which you think is right, and you're even proud of yourself. People are proud of you because what you are doing. Somebody comes and says, what you're doing is wrong. Like you're fighting with each other, competing with each other for meaninglessly piling up stuff. What would be your response? You would say that, well, what I'm doing is right. Maybe your perspective is wrong. Isn't this how we self-defend ourselves? So the first two verses is truly blaming me, saying that you have been competing with each other for piling up, increasing in numbers, all the way, actually, this is how your life goes up until the grave. However, you would like to take grave. And in response to my question, maybe you are wrong, because my ego would immediately say this if I pay attention when Quran speaks to me like that. And if I take it personal, my ego would say that, oh, God, no, what I'm doing is right. But then, كلا سوف تعلمون ثم كلا سوف تعلمون كلا لو تعلمون. So again and again, 3 times, كلا كلا كلا. No, you will know it. No, you will know it. And when you know it, so keeps coming up with this repetitive, you will know it, you will know it. So it's not like it's your opinion. It has nothing to do with me, sort of a thing here. The accuser here, my creator, is saying that you very well know it, actually. If you listen to something which we should find out, what is it that I'm going to listen to so that I'm going to know it? So I cannot, as if this verse is saying that you cannot simply get out of that by blaming me or my perspective. You, in the first place, is a witness to that. Or at least this is how the verses are going. It is saying that you know this and you will know it. So my question then becomes, can I know it really? What do you think, folks? Now, so the part that right now I'm focusing on is the first three verses here. No, indeed, you soon shall know. No, indeed, you soon shall know. No, indeed, were you to know with certainty of knowledge. You shall certainly see hellfire. How do I know that? Or do you know that? Let me ask it this way. Can you confirm this? And in what sense can you confirm it? Wherever you like. Welcome. Yes, this is the question. Yes.
I think we do know it from time to time, but then we tend to forget. And I think the moment that I have learned it in is when somebody dies and you see, when you see death more closely and somebody dies, you can see that they haven't really taken anything with them. Right, but somebody tries to accumulate beauty a lot when they're younger, and you see that eventually everybody gets older and they're reach the same fate, and everybody gets equalized in that way. So I think we do know in those moments, and it's if somebody close to you dies, your attitude changes. You sort of self-reflect and try to become better, but then you forget and you fall back into those same patterns. So.
So in this case, death is a reminder. So in what sense death becomes a reminder? Why is death a reminder? Let's try to find what is it in me that makes me realize this. So it looks like, I mean, if you come up with anything, just you can chime in, otherwise I will keep talking. So the way that this is repeating, I feel like, and actually as I hear it from my creator, if I pay attention to myself, I hear this resistance within myself towards such a claim that you are piling up, and my inner voice is arguing against this, either by saying that, no, I am not piling up, denying it, or I am saying that, well, this is how it's supposed to be, or I say, how would I know that I am piling up? Then show me a sign that it is bad. Like what I'm doing. So think of it this way, you're a student, you keep postponing assignments or maybe cheating and whatnot, and teacher doesn't say anything to you until end of 4 years, and keep saying that you're going to see, and then you say, well, if I'm doing something wrong, show it to me. It looks like everything is lined up. I keep getting A's and A's and A's. If at the end of 4 years, you're going to be dismissed from the school, is this when it's going to happen? Like if what I'm doing is wrong, it looks like within the system that you did, in our example, 4-year schooling system, whatever I do seems to be working well. Like cheating is not bad. Your system allows me to do that. So you keep just telling me that you will know. Does that mean that, at the end of 4 years, you will know? Or even people do graduate with that. Do you mean that when you get to an industry job, you will fail because you didn't learn anything, and now stepping into real life, people will not give you any A anymore because a job is given to you. You're not able to do it. Is this what I'm going to learn? So in my life then, as I keep piling things up, meaning, let everybody like me, everybody approve me, or piling up wealth, piling up success, piling up anything that I am going to be boastful about, how would I know that it's bad? The creator is saying that, no, you will know it. I'm saying, no, I don't see it. It looks like I think he's not seeing it either. He just bought another car. Or such and such person, he is even working harder, getting more successful. Nobody's showing them that what they are doing is wrong. Then are they going to know? But the creator says again, no, you will know it. And I say, well, how do I know this?
I mean, maybe the repetition of that is not one of certainty, but one of continued, just again and again. You will know again, and then you'll know again, and you'll know again. Not you will know a singular one time at the end of your life, but it's a constant thing.
Or I mean, this is very good, the continuity in the sense that maybe it is also saying that you already know it, but you don't notice that you know it. You're covering it up. Even when you're cheating, let's say, go back to our example, and you get an A, I tell to the professor saying, no, it works, I get an A. But the professor says, you know what you're doing is wrong. I say, no, it's not wrong, I got an A. You know what you're doing is wrong. Deep inside, you know what's going wrong, don't you? As if the professor is now making me face myself, challenging me with facing my own reality. Actually, nowadays, this is what I am finding to be quite useful to a certain extent in my classes. Given the AI and everything nowadays, preventing cheating is almost impossible. Students do find ways to cheat. If it's a written assignment, they ask it to ChatGPT, perfectly human language answers are given. They don't need to worry about studying and learning and solving. If it's a programming assignment, multiple resources, you put them together, perfectly working programming assignment without putting any effort, you pass. Realizing that I cannot compete with AI for catching them or preventing cheating. Right now, what I'm trying to do instead is, folks, cheating is wrong, and you very well know cheating is wrong. Not only it is injustice to your friends, it is injustice for your money as well. You very well know that you're wasting your money. Even if you cheat and not get caught, you didn't learn anything. So you're wasting $60,000 per year for that school to learn this, yet you're not learning it. And this is your best learning opportunity, like school time, and you're graduating and going. Isn't this wrong? Who are you wronging? Are you wronging me? You're wronging yourself more than anyone. And you're very well aware of that. Speaking to that person's conscience, saying that you know, very well know what you're doing is wrong. And if the student insists, no, nothing is wrong, then I start showing immediately how it is harming the student itself. In the short run, in the long run. Like immediately, first of all, I say to students, your friend who is hardworking is putting effort and let's say getting a B. By not putting an effort, you get an A. You know that you are stealing from your friend. Like if you were to steal from his pocket, how would you feel? But now you're stealing from your friend something else. Isn't like how do you feel about it in the first place? How would stealing money make you feel?
Well, but how can you speak to someone's consciousness if they don't even recognize it themselves?
So this is, the question is it not there at all? Or is it there and being buried down?
I mean, yeah, but it's a choice. So can you argue with someone who's choosing to repress?
You can remind. For instance, somebody can be trying to live the life as if you live only once, right? And trying to express the human desire for eternity, saying that I only have one life and I'm going to live it as such. You can bring many things to that person's attention, saying that you're fooling yourself. And you're killing yourself. No matter how hard you're trying to express it, it's going to surface. You try hard. I do see this, but you're not succeeding and you will not succeed so far. Don't you see that?
Right.
Still, the person can reject to listen to that. But this is a very human very human need, in the sense of air is a human need, like undeniable human fact. So you can show it to that person. That person can deny or close their eyes and say that go away and whatnot. But this does not change the fact that you know what you're doing is wrong. Of course, all you can do is reminder. Like, you cannot make this person to make a different choice. I mean, people are doing their choices. No argument about that. This is why repetitively Quran is saying that for the Rasul, messenger, only invitation. It's only invitation that's upon the messenger. But messenger comes up with tangible, factual message. It's not hypothetical, imaginary. You very well know is the main point here. So, yeah, my understanding for these questions are it's multiple times because there might be this resistance within me who wants to deny the fact that I am piling up, and I say, no, I don't. And it says, yes, you do. No, I don't. Yes, you do. I know that you know, sort of an insistence. Then comes this, كلا لو تعلمون علم اليقين لترون الجحيم. So two things that I would like to attract our attention to here. One is the word yaqeen here, certainty. كلا لو تعلمون علم اليقين. No, indeed, were you to know with certainty of knowledge, you shall certainly see hellfire. لترون الجحيم. So it's going a little further now, saying that not only you will know with certainty. And that certainty is such a certainty that you will see fire. What does that mean? Do you see fire? Like, your creator is coming you with that certainty, saying that, no, you will see. And certainly you will see it. And you will see the fire. For this to be a guidance for me, my experience, today was the first day of classes at Drexel, posting the syllabus is not helping at all. At the beginning of the term, I showed the syllabus. I threatened them with, if you cheat, I'll do this. It just enters from here, exits from here. And I just show it so that later on I can say that, look, I told it. That's the whole reason. Other than that, it doesn't have any effect whatsoever on students' attitude, right? So, but my creator's guidance should be much more effective than just pulling up a syllabus and saying that you will see it 4 years later, 10 years later. Like, could this be a more effective way of guidance? Meaning, is this fire? If it's only talking about a fire after I graduate, meaning after I die, it sounds like this syllabus, like postponing, pointing to a too late of a time. In the hell, after you die, you will see the fire if you keep going like this, right? That is one meaning, but it's not as effective because, like my students, it enters from here, exits from here. Like, look at the society, Muslim society, forget about the rest of the people. How much people are scared about hellfire anymore nowadays? God will forgive at best. This is why people that come with work and travel to United States from overseas, I have heard a lot of such stories. They do all sorts of vices here, And they say, well, when we go back to our country, we will repent, make istighfar, and Allah will forgive us. And then we are erasing the sins anyways, like this. So like a crime that's intentionally a planned crime ahead of time, like as in the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, their brothers were planning to like kill Yusuf and say that then we will repent and become good people. So just talking about a future hell is not being very practical for our moment, for our decisions about at the moment, right? So the fire, yeah.
I'm wondering if ilm al-yaqeen is related to iman.
Ilm al-yaqeen, okay. Iman. كلا لو تعلمون علم اليقين.
Because like the word certainty reminded me of like conviction.
Mhm.
So it's like, does ilm al-yaqeen mean like when I get there and I like actually see it, or can I have that certainty of knowledge right now? And do people who have like that level of iman, do they have that certainty of knowledge? Like how are they related, or they related at all?
Okay, so let's dwell more on that. So it's talking about ilm al-yaqeen, certainty of knowledge. So yaqeen means certainty. Ilm al-yaqeen is certainty of knowledge. So it was talking about when you know it with, or if you were to know it with certainty of knowledge, then you will see fire. Seeing is different than knowing. So it first says you will know it, you will have the certainty of knowledge. So it's a type of knowing. But then it says by that knowing, you will see the fire. So initially you don't see the fire as it, or you don't consider it as fire. Because like what are the levels of knowledge? They say like hierarchy. They mention 3 hierarchy of knowledge in this context. They say that first you know it with like deducing some knowledge. The example for that is you see the smoke coming from behind the mountain. You say that, oh, there must exist a fire. You didn't see the fire, but because of the byproduct of the fire that you see, which is smoke, by your knowledge, you know, or you're certain that there must be a fire. So this is certainty of knowledge. So you climb the mountain, you now see the fire. So now you have the certainty of sight, which will come next. Actually, ثُمَّ لَتَرَوْنَهَا عَيْنَ الْيَقِينِ, certainty of sight. But we started with ilm al-yaqeen. So by knowledge, you will know, the Creator said. And once you know it, you will see it. And once you see it, you will have a certainty of sight. And then they talk about a third level in which they say, you get closer to the fire, put your hand inside the fire, and now for sure, with the certainty of truth, no room for doubt that it is fire. So this is the utmost level of knowledge. So here, how is it going? Initially, I thought I was claiming that, no, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not piling up. I'm innocent. Creator said, no, you will know it. You will know it. You will at least initially know it with the certainty of knowledge. Like if you think about it, as much as I understand from here, if you think about it, you can deduce that what you're doing is wrong, or what you're doing is piling up, and aimless piling up. Seeking for, let's say, I say, no, I'm for the betterment of humanity, I am working more. In me, I'm trying to find some excuse. For the betterment of society, I'm a social fighter. Or like, Muslims need to get stronger. This is why I am doing this. I come up with an excuse for myself, right? But it's saying that with knowledge, you know that what you're doing is an aimless piling up. Actually, he says, once you realize this, knowing it, لَتَرَوُنَّ الْجَحِيمَ, you will see the fire. But what is fire here? Okay, let's say we talked about certainty. So certainty is not hearsay, it's not imagination, right? It's based on some sort of an evidence. Smoke comes, So you have a reason to have a certainty that there must be a fire there. So as if it's saying that you have evidence within you that you are piling up. You can know this, certainly know this with the outcomes of it in your life. You're trying to pile up. Does it make you any satisfied? Where did I get this? Fire. What is fire? Because as much as I say it, I will realize the fire it is saying. So as if this competition of piling up, it's not satisfying me. What does that mean? As if I have a fire inside me, and the more I put in there, the more it wants. It keeps consuming it. It becomes none. The more popular I become, the stronger I become, the wealthier I become, for the purpose of becoming more, or the more well-known, well-recognized within the society, within the mosque even. If I am doing it for my egotistical reasons of becoming more, growing, being acknowledged more, I desire more because it's not really getting piled up. It's just burning away. This is one property of fire. The more you put it, the bigger it becomes, and it keeps consuming whatever gets into fire. Fire never says, oh, enough. Just give me more. Another property of fire is I do sense this fire, this disturbing, burning feeling in me. Because normally, if it is something like water which satiates me, after you get a certain amount, you would be okay. But the more I get, the more I want. It becomes like a burning desire in me. This desire of piling up becomes a burning desire in me. It's a disturbing desire, actually. So as if my creator is saying that, check yourself. This attitude of yours, which wants to pile up, competes with each other. That part was important. Because if I was alone in this existence, there was no Birkan, no Atik, no one, would I still want to acquire more? If you think about it, you want to buy a new car when you see your friend buys a newer car. Otherwise, I'm happy with my 2011 Camry. But once I see that somebody buys a brand new car, then I say, why not me? This competition gets into the picture. Mm-hmm. And this dissatisfaction now gets more and more. So even if I get this new car, and I would say, why not a Tesla? Why not a Mercedes? So it's, in one hand, it's as if I'm expanding to satiate myself, satisfy me. But the more I get, the more needy, greedy, burning I become.
Also, like the color love time, can give me like something that's a train of knowledge. Another thing is it's not easy to get to. So how to get home.
So for that especially, the topic here is to have the certainty of knowledge about me burning. Like I'm piling up. And initially I was resisting. No, I'm not piling up. Nothing wrong with that. My creator is initially saying that you know. Actually, at least you know it you can relate to it at a understanding level, knowledge-wise. How is it? Let's make an accounting. Mustafa, in your life, what have you done so far? You did this schooling, you have gone to the Six Flags, you have count up all the things that you did lovingly, with joy. And I say, where are they? And let's talk about it. What was your motivation for doing them? You were seeking some satisfaction. Did you get satisfaction? Or now you desire more of it? Was it oh, I did enough of this? Or once you finish something, you realize that it's not satisfying you. Either you wanted to add more on top of it, or you turn to some other alternative saying that, oh, kayaking was not fun enough. Let me go do bungee jumping. Like you're still trying to pile up something else. This is for the joys. It could be your success and whatnot. So by talking with each other, knowledge-wise, we can get to know that this is not satisfying me, actually. I have been piling up. So realization of this piling up could be achieved by knowledge. Somebody shows me that I was mistaken, as if, oh, you see that, smoke is coming, there's a fire. So in my life, I say there's no fire. Somebody shows me that, Yusuf, you know why you are working day and night? You're even neglecting your children and trying to publish and do this and that in your career. You're trying to pile up. Showing me the outcomes of my behavior, showing me the smoke, saying that this is the fire burning somewhere in you. This is why that smoke is coming out. Then now I can start relating to that. Because initially I thought that, no, it's something good. I'm doing it not for myself. I'm doing it for my children. Muslims are going to be like, we should be in this domain. We should be strong. Like even I'm sugarcoating it to be more acceptable. But then somebody comes and says, at the core of it, you're piling up to feed your ego. Really? Can I know that? So by showing the outcomes of my behavior, showing the fire that is really burning deep inside, what is my driving force? So that certainty here is not about the existence of God. This is what I'm trying to say. This ilm al-yaqeen is about the certain, you can be certain about what you're doing is wrong. You're just piling up for egotistical reasons. Yes, Khalid.
So my question is about satisfaction. You go to bungee jumping, you go to kayaking, you get the satisfaction. So one could ask the question that if you do not get satisfaction from those kind of things, you would not pursue those things. So is the creator giving you that satisfaction so that you can know what satisfaction is, and then you long for eternal satisfaction? Is that the reason for the satisfaction that is given when you're doing any activity that you like? Or is there like any other reason?
This is very beautiful because you are being given momentary satisfaction and then it is being cut off very rapidly. We should then ask the question, what is the purpose of that design? What does this design being in this way tells me? As if, like think of it this way, to a child, you show the chocolate, put it to child's tongue and take it away. This is how it feels like, right? You taste something in this existence, bungee jumping or whatever. You say, oh, this is awesome. Gone. You want it to continue, but the joy finishes. The creator put the chocolate on your tongue and take it away. Say, then what's the point? Why is the design as such? And this is a very beautiful question to ask. You make me taste it, but you don't allow me to enjoy it independently, like indefinitely. So I am then seeking for an eternal, an absolute, and never-ending one. It is saying that come to me. I know what you enjoy. It's at me. Come to me. It's an invitation. This is why this world is not to enjoy. This world is just to taste and postpone enjoying, saying that here the point is to learn. Here the point is not to enjoy. The main gist is not to enjoy the temporary. This is how the design is. Like I cannot fight against the design. It's pretty much like you enroll to a school, you got a class, professor gives a toy example. You really like doing that assignment, and the professor says, okay, end of it, let's get to the next topic. You say, no, I want to continue studying on this topic. The professor says, no, this is not the point. It was just a toy example to teach you something. Now we pass to another topic. And then I start fighting. You have to change the curriculum. Who cares? If you're a student, a wise one have designed this curriculum. Follow the curriculum, right?
Maybe you want to drop out and retake the class.
Yeah, if you can. If you can. So لَتَرَوُنَّ الْجَحِيمِ is this what I understand from that letter on Najahim is, indeed, once you have this, let's say, as Quran is now having this conversation with me, saying that you would know, you can know by looking at its outcomes with the certainty of knowledge that what you're doing is wrong, and actually look at the fire that's burning you and disturbingly consuming you, or dissatisfaction is in there, meaninglessness is in there. You piled up, and you are still not satisfied. You ask for more. What does that mean? Don't you see this dissatisfaction of you, the desire of you for more? What does this tell you? Don't you feel that? I put this fire in you, this fire of dissatisfaction to this temporary life. What does it tell you? Yeah.
To Paddy's question about the satisfaction and also the relationship with the dissatisfaction. There's a very beautiful word in Quran, which is azab. Azab, like one meaning is just pleasant, sweet. And at the same time, the most common use that we know is like a torture, pain, and so on. There's also a third meaning, which is like hindering, cutting something from something, cutting the link and so on. When you do something in this world, it gives you the sweetness, the freshness, as a. But when all the causes that you rely on are hindered, cut, into something, what is left is pain. So this satisfaction itself, when used as a training, the material becomes dissatisfaction and the pain in the real sense. So through the pleasure, the satisfaction you get from worldly accumulation and so on, you know what the pain is. Because when you try to accumulate something, you get a tiny pleasure. And the goal for you when you accumulate is that you will accumulate so much and you will, pile all this tiny pleasure, it will become eternal pleasure that I am after. But Creator says, okay, if this is what you want, you are seeking satisfaction from your job, right? Now I'm hindering, I'm cutting your, the connection with the job. Job is gone. Where is the satisfaction? You are trying to get the satisfaction from your children. Now I'm cutting the connection with you and your children as the source of the pleasure. So what happens? Your children goes to high school or college, they don't care about you anymore. You're just the money machine for them, like the ATM. And here's your children, Creator says, the same meat and bone. They are even, bigger now. Before it was small, it's bigger now. Get more satisfaction. Now the same thing became the azab from like a pain, torment for you, the torture for you. So that the pleasure is there, where is the source of the pleasure? Then you ask. Because I thought it was my children. And I'm accumulating my children. I made 5 of them, 7 of them. They are getting bigger, and satisfaction is getting smaller. What is the source? You start asking. And you try to make a new connection between these satisfactions and their creator. Now the satisfaction, the sweetness become and stay as sweet. Not like it doesn't become plain.
So, وعليكم السلام. وعليكم السلام. ثم لترونها عين اليقين. So then this certainty of knowledge by sight, like after we know, we are now certain about it by knowledge, we saw the fire in me as well, which actually the fire that burns in me is a testifies for the fire to come afterwards, like a bigger fire that will burn me eternally. Because what I'm experiencing right now is just saying that more of it is in the waiting. And especially if you think about it, if you are not satisfied with your achievement so far in life, what makes you think that you will get more satisfied when you get that degree from UPenn? Like you guys graduated from high school, you get those degrees with the best success and whatnot. And now ambitiously you're saying that, oh, Penn degree, I'm going to get that, Drexel degree or PhD or something. What makes you think that you're going to get the satisfaction? Because you're always asking for more. It's like a fire, it keeps burning and it never is getting satisfied. More of this dissatisfaction is waiting for you. The small fire burning in there, the more you put it in there, it's going to grow bigger. You're growing your own hell. What is the remedy to that? Shall I not seek a degree? But this is my reality, at least. My creator is making me face my reality, saying that what you're doing right now and the lack of satisfaction is your proof that you're just piling it up, meaninglessly piling it up, competing with others. If it was proper incrementing, you would find satisfaction, but you don't. Therefore, you are just, everything you put into this fire is just making your hell bigger. And you will get certain, more and more certain of it. If you pay attention to this, you will get more certain of it. Not only now by the outcomes, you can start seeing that fire in you. You will start seeing that, you might even visually see some people or even yourself getting angry, getting anxious, nervous about this competition. Sometimes, especially if you are not emotionally involved with it, observing that person from outside, you would say that he is losing it now, right? So in academic domain, I have experienced such competitions in all levels, like postdocs with each other,
He was competing with me.
like postdocs with each other, professors with each other, department heads with each other. At every layer, there's this competition. Maybe a department head wouldn't consider competing with me, saying that it's like small, but department head with another department head, all these competitions, and then you start seeing that ego war starting to happen. And now you say that this is nothing but the fire. That person is being consumed by his or her egotistical desires, the other one as well. And now visibly, it's not a simple argument between two people. It is the fire that are consuming them is very visible to you right now. This person is wasting his life for that competition of accumulating more. Then I turn and look at myself. Oh, I'm not a department head, but within my level of competition, I don't have anything less. Same competition, same piling up, seeking satisfaction by adding more. I do start seeing the fire in me as well. And once I see all these, now I am certain with the certainty of sight, the concluding verse. Then on that day, you will be called to account for all the bounties you enjoyed. Now, this is a very interesting conclusion, because again, my creator is providing me a guidance. The point of this is not to say that, oh, you're done, and here I am reporting you are going to be deported or dropped out of the school or whatever. This is a guidance. This is a preventive thing for me. It's trying to wake me up. So this is my merciful creator is speaking to me, warning me gently about what is my status. said that you're piling up. I said, no, I don't. He said, no, you do. You know what you're doing. Actually, you know it by certainty of sight. The fire is there. And now comes to the conclusion and says that once you achieve this realization, on that day, on that moment of realization, as you become more and more cognizant of that fire, you're sure, you realize that, all my actions were being driven by this, trying to satisfy this fire, which is by its nature not being satisfied. You will be called to account for all the bounties you enjoyed. How do you connect this to all the previous parts of the chapter? I was piling up. Then I realized that meaninglessly I was putting into this fire to satiate my thirst, and it was just burning and going away, and it was burning me at the same time. That realization, the Creator says, will bring you another realization. On that moment, when you realize this, you become that certain of that fire, you will be held accountable for all the bounties you were given. What is this in your reality? Yes.
Like questioning yourself and realizing if, like, accumulating those bounties was worth it.
Can you say it again?
Like, I'm just thinking about what it means to be like called to account or be questioned regarding the bounties, and I'm wondering if it's like a questioning that you're doing to yourself when you realize that, like, you wasted all that time just accumulating, like you questioning yourself and asking if it was worth it.
Yes.
Maybe when you get the realization, you get to the point that you've been piling up, and then you don't have that realization. And you realize like all of this was like for just one moment, 1 second, like maybe 1 minute. That realization.
So then let me refine the question a little bit. What is the relationship between piling up, especially as the surah started, competing for piling up versus bounties? What does the word bounty signify?
Something that was given to you by the Creator.
It's given. It's a gift. But what does piling up mean?
Stealing.
There's this notion of stealing, as if it doesn't have any owner, and now I get it and it becomes mine, right? And let's say I am stealing your attention. I am trying to pile up you acknowledging me, and I become a more important person. And I say, now I am important. It's my charisma. It's not a gift. It's mine, right? But actually, this was the source of my fire. I thought that I was going to feel better if more people think that I'm an important person. And I get addicted to this attention. It became something that consumes me. Like, actually, practically, YouTubers say this, right? They burn out after some point. It's a very practical example. Or like Twitter phenomenon, or like this, what do they call it? Influencers. Because now you become addicted, or you become enslaved to your followers. You would like more, but it's not satisfying you. But practically, physically, mentally, you are burnt out. You're not able to deliver a new YouTube video, or you all consume the ideas and whatever. You want more, but you already have 10 million followers, but you're not satisfied yet. You want another million. So you're burning out. Then you realize it was not something that didn't have any owner. Everything that I experienced in the first place was owned by someone. This was my problem in the first place. I was thinking that they didn't have any owner. They were not bounties. They were not given to me, but I stole them. This is why taking more, piling up, without even thinking that it's somebody else's. I'm going to be asked about it. This is without this being into, like, taking this into account, I kept piling up and piling up. Eventually, it started burning me. And as a result of this burning, now I am being invited to remember that everything was owned by someone. All the success you get, all the recognition you get, everything has been given to you. It has a creator, it has a sustainer, provider. He gave it to you for a certain reason. He would ask you, I gave you this recognition, I gave you this wealth. What did you do with it? There was a point I gave it to you. It's not that, like, do you really think that without anybody seeing you got it? From the very beginning, everything that you do experience, you go through in this life, it is being given to you, it is being created. Like this bungee jumping that you did. You get the satisfaction in there. Where did this satisfaction come from? This momentary satisfaction. Did you, by the way, did you do bungee jumping? No, okay. After this, you won't do it, right? Sorry, I did it. So, where do you think this satisfaction came from? Is it from the hormones or whatever? Where does this come from? I have been the one who gave it to you. What did you do with it? You just burned it for nothing. You thought that it's going to give a satisfaction and you wasted it. Then this is a wake-up call. Oh, they were not to be piled up, to be eventually burnt and become nothing, but they were supposed to be signs for me with which I'm going to get to know my maker. As being my sustainer, my provider, merciful, knowledgeable, all-knowing. All these names were what I was supposed to get out of these experiences. But, like, take it this way. There's a slide over here. And I keep putting slides here. And you become, imagine these slides were much nicer and beautiful. You become addicted to seeing more slides. You look at it, you look at it, you look at it, but you cannot hold them. I keep changing them, right? After 100 slides, you look back and say, where did all those slides go? They are gone. Now I ask you, did you learn anything from them? Like, my point for showing you all those slides were for something for you to learn and stay with you, but you just consume this visual attractiveness for a moment and said, show me another slide, show me another slide. Okay, here's another slide, here's another slide. 100 slides gone. Still, you want further slides to see because you are addicted to the visual attraction of it or momentary joy. Where did all those slides go? Now becomes a question for you.
I have two questions. The first one is boundaries like the literal definition of something in the verse?
Say it again.
Is boundaries the literal definition of a word in the verse?
Yeah, now nirma in here is like the good things that are given to you.
Okay.
You for the show appreciation for all the nimas that your God, Lord gives you.
Got it. And the second one is, so I do observe people like people accumulating things and then like also associating it to Allah, but still accumulating it. So it's almost like when they say, it's almost like a justification, right? Like if you want to spend like a lot of money on a wedding, your justification would be, oh, like Allah gave me all these ni'mas, so I want to like show them off and spend them and be thankful to him in this way. So it's like I do see people like connecting those boundaries to Allah, but still wanting to accumulate more, especially when they do think it's from Allah. So how do you like?
Yeah.
I'm not observing this contrast in society, but I'm still seeing the accumulation.
Yeah. So what does it mean? I mean, this is a very beautiful practical question. What does it mean really to acknowledge that it's from the Creator? Let's say, if I acknowledge that this building belongs to pen, yet I bring my computer here, set up my table here, and use it as a workplace. They would say, well, you are not acting as what you say you believe or you're convinced. If you are truly convinced this belongs to pen, you shouldn't be setting up this as your work environment. This here doesn't belong to you. It looks like you don't really believe in what you're saying. So if I say that, oh yeah, I believe everything belongs to the creator, and now I'm going to just spend more and whatever, like your creator, if the property belongs to him, you shouldn't be spending it like this. This is a very irresponsible way of, wasteful way of spending. This is not praising of the creator. This is just satisfying your ego. You're just doing lip service, one would say. So I guess this is why probably, and this, Jazakallah khair for that, you will know certainly deep inside, yaqeen will be there. I might be selling it to others, saying that I do it for the sake of Islam only. Muslims are going to be strong and whatnot. Deep inside, you very well know you do it for your ego, because that fire is burning in there. So this is why Quran is very beautifully speaking to the self, to me, and saying that when you're by yourself, when you look at the mirror, when you go home, isn't this the case? Talk to yourself. As if this is how Quran, and my creator is speaking to me, saying that nobody is here, Yusuf. Nobody will hear what we are talking about. Me and you. You know it, don't you? Deep inside, you know it. You're pretending this way, you're doing that way, but this is your reality, isn't it? I mean, after the day ends, still I'm going to pretend as if I'm the very pious guy and whatnot. But deep inside, you do see, and you are certain the fire is there and is consuming you. So that's why Quran is very beautifully speaking to humans' very deep feelings. Whom other than my creator can speak that well? When Quran says we are closer to you than your jugular vein, even just studying this surah shows that yes, the one who is closer to me than myself really knows or has taken an x-ray of my humanity and speaking as such. He's saying that deep inside, you know, don't pretend. Yes.
So, and in that part where you will be asked, we can take it as you will be asked, you will be, called to account. And at the very beginning, it was talking about the Kabir, the grave. You can take it as, the angels will come and start asking you, what did you do, and go to the hellfire. But at the same time, since we are reading the Quran right now as a guidance, we can take all these ayah as a way to transform ourselves, transform our understanding. And when we try to read it that way to get guidance now, ayahs like from beginning to end almost said, you've been living this life as a consumer, and you will take everything as a product around you. And they will stay there they will happen to be there by chance or due to like works of others or yourself. And you will just consume them. You will just accumulate them, and you will try to seek satisfaction from them. And this tiny satisfaction, as Kadir was mentioning, that you find in them will fool you for a moment, and you think you will get your satisfaction, like this eternal satisfaction that you search for from this accumulation. But then, soon enough, it's always self-aware, like very soon you will see. And even when you try to get them, just in a moment sometimes, they just like a birds in front of your hands. They become nothing. And when you touch them, you see the hellfire, the fire. Mm-hmm. They go away. They go away. Just in front of your eyes. You thought they were so valuable. The next moment you know that they are nothing. Mm-hmm. And you say, what about this satisfaction that I'm searching for? What about this satisfaction that I was given when I touched them? And when they burn now, when they burn away, what is left? The realization that everything is given to you. You were searching for satisfaction, you were searching for pleasure, and the pleasure was given to you momentarily. And by things going away from you, you realize that it was not these products that was giving that were given giving the pleasure and satisfaction to them. And you realize that they were given to you. So all these, even these tiny satisfactions, they were given to me like the breadcrumbs. Like we were collecting the breadcrumbs so that I can find the castle of the oats. So you, it's like they were given to me. They were. It was. I mixed two different terms. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The Yellowstone. You, I know. It was
What is it? I don't even-
oats.
Hansel and Gretel and Wizard of Oz.
Anyway, so you realize the realizations that they are given to me. They are not products. They are given to me from my Lord, and they become nima. When you start questioning this hellfire on fire, this satisfaction calls you questioning. So you can take this like a part as being asked, as something, this satisfaction calls you the asking. Right? He made me ask, kind of. And then you realize that they are all nimas. And this is the salvation for you. So you say that, Alhamdulillah, I was, fired from my job. Alhamdulillah, I fell down the stairs. Alhamdulillah, I lost this, I lost that. Now I realize they were given to me. And the one who gave, he gave to me all these things is still there. I don't care about the job anymore. I don't care about my health anymore. Because the giver of the bounties, it's still there.
So, and I think this surah then can be understood in the sense of our LinkedIn feed as we try to pile up. So maybe we can read this in this sense, because nowadays career is where we pile up most, or joy is where we pile up most. My Creator is asking me to face my reality, see my fire in there, and then at the end saying that once you realize the fire in there, then it's going to, through that only, you can get to the realization of, oh, I was being provided. I have been a usurper, a thief, stealing, and it was just going nowhere. With that realization, you can realize that it's a ni'mah, it's a bounty. Then you can make proper use of it. So it then becomes a guidance for you. So we have to do Maghrib. We are a little late. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم